1991 was the best year for music. Many of us have an opinion on what was the best year for music. Some people say it was 1824. This is when the composer Ludwig van Beethoven first performed his Symphony No. 9. Other people say the best year was 1969 because of hit songs by the Beatles, David Bowie, and Elvis Presley. The UK radio station Radio X recently conducted a survey and found the best year for music was 1991. This is because of the success of bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, REM, Stone Roses, and Nirvana. The reason for 1991 being the Radio X survey's best year for music could be the average age of the listeners of the station. Many of the listeners were teenagers in 1991 and have great memories of that year. A psychologist believes people tend to stick to the songs they heard when they were teenagers. Dr. Catherine Loveday told the BBC why we like songs we first heard in our teens throughout our life. She said, "It is during these developmental years that we make many crucial life-changing decisions. We start significant long-term relationships and establish the cultural and political beliefs which form our identity." She added that music has an intrinsic capacity to regulate emotions. So these songs naturally become embedded in our important memories, both positive and negative. She said, "People in their 80s and 90s show a better memory for things that they first experienced between the ages of 10 and 30. Okay. Now that we both read the article, did you have a good understanding of the article?
Yes.
Okay, can you look at the words over to the right? You'll see the synonym matches and pronounce each of those words for me, beginning with opinion.
Which one?
The words over to the right. The first word is opinion. There are 10 of them. Opinion, performed, recently. Can you pronounce each of these words?
Okay. Opinion. Thinking.
Okay. Now, the best thing that you're going to do is opinion. Just read the words. Do not try to match them yet. Opinion, performed.
Performed, recently, survey, memories, beliefs, throughout, crucial, embedded, experience.
Okay.
Questionnaire, not long ago, encountered, for the whole of, belief, key, recollection, implanted, presented, things.
Are there any words on this page in this column that you don't understand?
Okay. Throughout.
What number is that? Number 7?
7. Yeah.
Throughout means for the entire time. It would go with letter D for the whole amount of time. Okay. So throughout this session, we're going to talk about what we've read. So for the whole part of this lesson, throughout this lesson, we're going to talk about what we've read. Any other words?
No.
Now, let's take a look at the article again. And I want you to use at least 3 of these vocabulary words or phrases to tell me what this article is about. You can use more than 3, but we'll start with 3.
Now, could you repeat the structure again?
I want you to tell me about this article and use at least 3 of these vocabulary words or phrases. You may use more if you wish.
Okay. The article discusses
Mm-hmm.
So they think there's like various years to consider as the best year, but the one that I think is the most important is 1991,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of bands appeared this year, and they are very famous. And they believe that most of the people who like watch or listen to this music was teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
and they do survey to understand. Okay, I need to change words everything.
You've
They
used
do
one.
questionnaire
Mm-hmm.
to understand why people affected by the music. So they believe that the teenager is the most people who are affected by music, and because this lifetime period is significant, and it's like this period of time is like when people like grow up, they show their personality, they show their characteristics. So it's important period for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they think that music could be like music will be implanted.
Mm-hmm.
So
That-
it's implanted with their memory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be three of them. So you were able to use the word survey, memories, and embedded. Okay, good. So now for the next few minutes that we have remaining, let's just talk about the article, or you can talk about things that is going on in your life or someone else's life. The goal is okay, the goal is just to try to use the words that you're learning, okay? So in this lesson, there are many structurally correct sentences embedded in the lesson today. And as you listen to me speak and reflect on what you've read, you should be able to form an opinion of the article. So what is your opinion of this article?
Okay. I guess it's like very important to understand like what here is like the important here for some people. I know that they say that a lot of people think about it, but I don't consider myself as I want to think about it. And I think like for a while, like from time to time, we see like music and it's hit and it's become like famous. So like all years become like something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's hit and become very famous.
Okay. According to the article, though, it says that people have fond memories of things that they learned when they were younger, more so than what they learned as they got older. Do you think that that's true or no?
I'm actually quite sure about it. I don't know about it. Yeah. But yeah, maybe sometimes when we speak, we say like, when I was younger, it was like more like friendly. Things was more easily. Things like I think sometimes we think like in the past it was like better than nowadays.
Right. And those memories that we're speaking of, they still may be more about our between the ages of 10 and 30. Not so much when you were 2 and 3, but what you remember most, perhaps according to the article, is what you were doing, where you were, what songs you heard between the ages of 30, between the ages of 10 and 30. Remember, try to use some of the words in the list with whatever it is that you're saying, okay? This way, when you experience this article, you get to experience these words in different formats as I speak about them.
Okay. So again, I don't think that I'll get the question. So what is the question and what's the answer I need to give? So it's according to the article, we got
Acco-
I need to speak about this thing.
Well,
I
according
believe
according to the article, people remember things that they experienced most between the ages of 10 and 30. The goal for this lesson today is for you to use all 10 of those words or expressions in conversation. It can be about this article or it could be about something else. When I'm speaking, I probably will talk about something that's not necessarily in the article in the form of a question, but I want to provoke you into thinking about maybe the article or something that you have experienced while using some of these vocabulary words. Okay, so we're talking about beliefs right now. What do you believe?
that. I think it's very difficult topic for me. So I don't know what to think about it.
Okay, so throughout this
Sorry?
so throughout this lesson, don't think about the article. Look at the vocabulary words over to the right under synonym match. Look at the vocabulary words and listen to what I say and then respond to it.
Okay.
Say, have you recently participated in a survey of any type?
Yes, I actually do my own survey. But we do like online survey
Mm-hmm.
to understand people's opinions about the environment and what the action they did or what they did respond so that could be affecting the environment or not.
So you want to look at the action they took?
The action they took.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and throughout this entire process of the survey, how long is this survey?
Okay. I'm actually maybe that it's not so okay.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Okay.
So in your make-believe survey, if it were true, how long would the survey take? 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour?
Okay, I believe that the survey is like less minutes. It will be like people will do it like easily, but people think that if it's too long, they will ignore it. So it's very important to understand the people or to understand how people like answer the survey.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, in your own opinion, if you had to complete a survey, at what point would you lose interest? Would it be after 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
I know that the topic itself, some topics is like scientific, so I want to continue.
Okay, give me an example. Give me an example of a topic that you would spend more than 10 minutes on.
I think it's like social question and like nowadays if they question about coronavirus, I will be excited to answer because it's like something I'm interested in now.
Okay.
And also this the environment but there's some questions about like website, about like electronic things and this kind of things. And I don't have enough experience on this kind of things and I don't think that I would want to answer them.
So would you just refuse to answer them, or would you at least spend 5 minutes in answering them?
I think I will try to answer them, but after a while, maybe
Okay.
I will ignore it.
Okay, so my experience is when I say to students that in this particular class, we're going to look at improving and increasing your vocabulary. We have 10 vocabulary words in front of us. And throughout this entire reading of the article, talking about the article, and then talking about things in general, you have actually mastered using 4 of the words. And I don't necessarily know that you are aware that you're using them. The goal is to use the words so that when you are speaking and others are listening to you, it would be, in their opinion, that you speak very well because you know how to embed particular words in your conversation as you speak. Do you understand what I just said?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so explain to me what I just said.
Okay, so the English class that I learned it's in 10 words, and then I use them in the class first, and I read second when you were like to read. Then when we discuss about this article, I need to read them out, and we use also this program when we speak about something else related to these 10 words, and use these 10 words to explain these things for me. I did that with him.
Okay, so right now, in this 1 minute that you were talking, in my opinion, you didn't use a single one of these words. However, I do believe that you can perform with these words because prior to my speaking, like I would say recently, we talked about a survey and we shared ideas and thoughts about how people remember things in their memory. I believe that if you take this lesson that we did today and read it throughout, you'll make crucial improvements in your speaking. Because in your speaking, you will find that you will have these words embedded in the conversation. And as time goes, your experience with interacting with the words will increase. Okay, so we're at the end of our session for today. Can you tell me what is the greatest takeaway from this lesson for you? What is the greatest takeaway for you for today's lesson?
Okay. In my opinion, I think it's a good way to learn words and keep it in your memory. And I think it's also crucial that the new words will make like my speaking is more fluent, and I will get more experience.
Okay, very good. So it does appear that you can use the words throughout this comment. You were able to use all of the words. And I believe with more practice, if I were to survey you later, I will find that you will perform better and better with each time using the words embedded into the conversation. Okay, so I want to say thank you so much for participating in today's lesson. It was my pleasure to